Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome or welcome back to my channel here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the time that I met Ram Dass. So, for those of you who don't know, Ram Dass was born under the name Richard Albert, and he was the youngest tenured professor in Harvard history, became the head of the Harvard Psychological Department, where he and Timothy Leary were given LSD by the government and were set forth with the task to basically test out LSD and figure out what it's all about back in the 60s. And they went off on their magical mystery tour of sorts, and before you know it, he is getting kicked out of Harvard and becoming sort of psychedelic representative, leader, pseudo guru of sorts, but he still didn't know what it was all about. He still hadn't really figured out what is this chemical really about. And so he decided to go east and went to India, where he was feeding LSD to all of these babas and sadhus and yogis and lamas and teachers, and you know, still couldn't quite figure out, what it was really about, because everyone who took it was just another person on the drug. So eventually he's in Nepal. He meets a young man who was known, and still is, known by the name of Bhagavan Das, born Kermit Riggs, an American from Laguna Beach, California, happened to be up there, and he gives him some of that LSD, and so Bhagavan Das says, okay, well, if you want to know what this is really about, follow me, I'll bring you to a real guru. So he brings him to Neem Karoli Baba's ashram, and the rest is history. Ram Dass ends up, at the time, Dr. Richard Albert ends up feeding Neem Karoli Baba this LSD, and nothing happens to him at all. He stays completely in the same state of consciousness that he was in before he took it, because his consciousness is that exalted. He's a fully enlightened master. And there's all these other magical tales that Ram Dass tells about meeting his guru, but basically it led him to bringing yoga culture, meditation, etc. to America, where he kind of helped integrate that into the hippie culture, into the psychedelic movement, into the New Age birth of the 1960s. Yeah, so for anyone who didn't know, this quick little recap of his story. He's most famously known for writing the book Be Here Now, and amazing guy who unfortunately passed away pretty recently. But yeah, quick background. Everyone who's clicked on this video probably knows who he is already, but just wanted to throw all that out there. So he wrote many books. I was fortunate enough to run across one of those books. It was given to me by a friend. So back when I was first starting to engage in psychedelic experiences, I was gifted a book called The Only Dance There Is. I didn't know anything about Ram Dass, anything about his story. I didn't know anything about meditation culture, yoga culture, Eastern philosophy, any of that. I just knew there was some special magic to psychedelics, and that I happened to have this book. So as I'm reading this book, it happens to coincide with some of my more profound awakening experiences that were inspired by psychedelics, and I really didn't understand most of what was happening in the book, but I did know there was something to it, and it definitely helped catalyze this key part of my journey. A few months later, the awakening experiences continued. I started to meditate with my psychedelic experiences, of which I don't actually participate any longer, but definitely still am an intense daily meditation practitioner, which was sparked by the meeting of my own guru at that time. His name is Shivabalayogi. The timing just so happened to align, where I met him not too long after this profound awakening experience, connected to psychedelics, connected to reading this book, and so I was guided by someone who was a more seasoned meditator and seasoned psychedelic practitioner to read the book Be Here Now. I had no idea that it was connected to The Only Dance There Is and who Ram Dass was, but that's how I was led to be here now. And so when I first started meditating for multiple hours every single day, and first started getting really deep into studying what is Eastern culture, what is the meditation path all about, after this awakening experience or set of experiences, I read Be Here Now, and I got absolutely hooked. Ram Dass was such a key being in catalyzing my spiritual journey, and I am so grateful for his service to humanity and his offerings to yoga culture in America. So that inspiration led me to actually joining his membership for his nonprofit called the Love, Serve, Remember Foundation, and that gave me access to hundreds of hours of amazing talks and recordings of Ram Dass from over the years that were all archived there. So at which point I started, meditate a couple hours each night, and then lay there after meditation and listen to Ram Dass's eloquent speech discussing the intricacies of the nature of the cosmos and all of this vast yoga philosophy and how it relates to psychedelic culture, and it was extremely inspiring. So the other part that came with the Love, Serve, Remember Foundation membership was that I was able to do a Skype one-on-one with Ram Dass personally. So the year was 2011, I believe, 2010 maybe. Yeah, so this is after he had his stroke and all, but he was very much on the mend. He was very much still in his thinking awareness and very eloquent in his speech, was able to communicate completely. So the day comes where I get to do my Skype meeting with Ram Dass. It's supposed to be a half an hour. It takes place that evening, so I ended up eating LSD that morning, tripping all day, and right as I was coming down, I got to have this amazing interaction. I was joined by one of my closest friends. I will keep him anonymous for public purposes, but so he and I had this opportunity to meet Ram Dass. So it was phenomenal. We're sharing stories back and forth. He's talking about Neem Karoli Baba, his guru. I'm talking about Shivabalayogi, my guru. We're sharing psychedelic experiences. We're connecting deeply over all these different spiritual topics. Time is just flying by. 30 minutes quickly passes, 45 minutes passes. We ended up talking for almost a full hour, even though that was past his schedule, and one of his attendants kept coming in and telling him that the time was up, but we were just having such a great conversation, it just kept going. It was really phenomenal. So later in the conversation, we ended up telling him, okay, we ate LSD this morning in preparation for meeting you, and he said something magical like, oh, that's why I've been seeing so much light coming from this video, or that's why there's been such a strong glow coming from you guys, or now I know why I've been seeing so much light coming from you guys, or something like that. And just so sweet and just so kind, and it was such an amazing experience. And then at the end of the conversation, what he said that really stuck with me and has just been inspiration for me throughout my spiritual journey the last 10 years, almost, maybe more so since then, is that he said that my friend and I were the next generation of Hanuman's monkey army, that we were carrying forward the torch of serving Ram, serving God, like he did as a representative of Hanuman's monkey army. So that was what Ram Dass said in that conversation that has always stuck with me, and that was the moment that really, one of the moments that really helped solidify my entrance into the spiritual path and my commitment to daily practice, to daily sadhana or spiritual self-effort. And he's obviously a hero to so many of us on the spiritual path and yogic practitioners in the West, and it's definitely been an unfortunate loss to be without him here on planet Earth, but we're all so grateful for his service to humanity and hoping that he's beaming down as he's always just beaming such bright, joyous, compassionate, unconditional, loving light on us all throughout his incarnation, and hopefully we can all keep his memory alive by doing our practices and loving God and learning from the Eastern traditions. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching this short video. Please check out Ram Dass's writings, check out Be Here Now, check out The Only Dance There Is, and so many more old videos, talks of his, truly an inspiration. And Ram Ram. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you want more videos like this. I've got tons of awesome stories to share of different experiences with different meditation teachers from over the years, different traditions, different magical moments. Hope to see you around this channel again soon.